Yuzuru Hanyu is the most inexplicable person in the world of figure skating. His actions and his entire sports career are hardly amenable to the logic of an ordinary person. He likes to show his thoughts and experiences in the only possible way for himself, skating. A special role for him is played by demonstration performances, where he can reveal topics that concern him. For example, the famous performance to the song Hana Wasaku, which was written as part of a fundraising program for victims of the 2011 earthquake in Japan. On the current tour of Fantasy on Ice, Hanyu showed a new program to the song Raison by Taisei Miyakawa. Most of the song is written in Japanese, as the show and this performance is designed specifically for this audience. The music is not typical for figure skating, it is fast and very bright. It is difficult to correlate with the image of Yuzuru, who is remembered by everyone as a master of classics and lyrics. The new program was directed by David Wilson, a choreographer who has been working with Hanyu for many years. It is much more interesting that 70% of the number is the idea of the skater himself. According to him, usually, he only added some steps and transitions from element to element, and here almost all the choreography was invented by the athlete. The number shows that it was put by the skater himself. First of all, a minimum of mandatory elements, jumps and rotations, and a lot of loaded choreography. It can be seen that Yuzuru is fully trying to win back the text. But this is definitely not a plot story where the skater talks about his sports path. As in the lyrics of the song, he talks about the fact that each performance has a certain meaning for him, which we may not fully understand. The collective unconscious, which is mentioned in the text, works here when the viewer is completely connected to what he sees on the ice, without realizing what it is. Hanyu shows here the maximum of what he can portray. These are some sexual moments, both dramatic and bright, joyful. Each of these images has a meaning, a message that we may never be able to unravel without the help of the athlete himself. As well as a very ambiguous ending. The costume is made in such a way that everything on Hanyu is pure white, except for her left arm and shoulder, which are painted purple. At the end of the routine, Yuzuru rolls up his right white sleeve and jerks towards himself like a punch. Immediately, the lights go out and the music stops. The meaning of the performance is its uniqueness. There are several recordings from different shows, and everywhere one way or another the program is different. Some movements are removed, some are added. Most noticeable is the sequence of movements that Hanyu does while lying on the ice. It was she who greatly excited the fans. Japanese shows, in particular Fantasy on Ice, are a storehouse of excellent productions, especially from figure skaters from the land of the rising sun. They perform at their own pleasure for the home audience, which loves and waits for them very much. Hanyu, even without a third Olympic title, remains the headliner of the show. Where did Rika Kihira disappear to, and will she return to the ice? Japanese single skater Rika Kihira was considered one of the strongest figure skaters. The athlete jumped ultra-SI elements, defeated Medvedev and Zagitova, and was determined to beat Trusova, Sherbakova and Kostornaya. However, in the Olympic season, Rika did not participate in any competition. In recent years, experts have predicted Kihira a place on the Olympic podium next to the Russians, but her compatriot Kaori Sakamoto got there instead. But she, unlike Ricky, does not jump either quads or triple axels. Rika Kihira is the same age as Alina Zagitova. True, she entered adulthood a year later, since she was born at the end of July. She did not apply for the Olympics in Pyeongchang, but she hoped to go to Beijing and show her maximum potential there. And she did a great job of reaching that goal. At least the first half of the Olympic cycle. She broke into adult competitions with a triple axel, sweeping her strongest rivals out of her way. Rika won 2 stages of the Grand Prix, at one of which she beat 2-time world champion Evgenia Medvedev, and then met in the final of the series with Olympic champion Alina Zagitova. The meeting ended unexpectedly. The Japanese left Alina behind and won gold. At the same time, Rika was the leader in both programs. Even in the short one, where Alina was flawless. Yesterday's junior turned out to be a very dangerous competitor, whom experts predicted the gold of the 2019 World Championship. Despite performing in her native Japan, Rika couldn't handle the stated content. Alina, on the other hand, skated perfectly and did not allow the Japanese woman to get close to her. Kihira had to be content with 4th place and make plans for revenge. The defeat at the home World Championship really spurred Kihira, and she began to actively study the quadruple salchow. In addition, the figure skater understood that in the new season the ranks of the Russians would be replenished by young child prodigies Alexandra Trusova and Anna Sherbakova, who opened the era of quads. And at the beginning of the season, Elena Kostornaya also added trouble to Riket. She, following the example of Kihira, armed herself with triple axels and with their help bypassed her opponent at the Japanese stage. But Rika did not lose heart. She was preparing a surprise for the Grand Prix finals. The surprise was Riki's first attempt at a quadruple salchow in competition. But she overestimated her strength, having included in an arbitrary quadruple, she left both triple axels. Naturally, the first quadruple ended in a fall, which led to an error on the triple axel combination. And the Japanese frankly failed to cope with the short program. However, she twisted the quad, and this was already a good start for the future. An unsuccessful performance in the Grand Prix final did not discourage Kihira from skating further. This is probably why she hardly believed that Zajitova had suspended her career. The athlete admitted that she would miss Alina. To be honest, I am very surprised. We competed with each other, so in part one we'll really miss her, Kihira shared in an interview with the Mancini. Little did Rika know then that she herself would have to miss the whole season. And the Olympic. From the first to the second attempt to land a quadruple salchow, Kihira took more than a year. After the Grand Prix final, she refused to take risks, preferring to win starts in which the Russians did not participate. Rika calmly won the title of Japanese champion and took gold for the second time at the Four Continents Championships. The pandemic did not allow her to try her luck with the quad at the 2020 World Championships, and in the off-season she suddenly went to train in Switzerland with Stefan Lambiel. With a longtime mentor, Mia Hamada, she retained cooperation, but she no longer took an active part in her preparation. Many were skeptical about such a transfer. Lambiel is new to the coaching field. How will he help the figure skater with quads? Nevertheless, for the Japanese championship, Rika managed to get in excellent shape and cleanly jump a quadruple salchow in a free one. In addition, she also did 2 triple axels. In fact, she became the first adult figure skater in history to land a quadruple jump and a triple axel in the same program. But since this did not happen at an international tournament, then officially this achievement does not belong to her, but to Kamila Valieva. Alas, Kihira did not take the quadruple salchow to the World Championships in Stockholm. She also failed to flash a triple axel. Under-rotations pursued her throughout the competition. At the World Team Championship, her performances were completely depressing, again under-rotated and a complete rejection of Ultra C in the free program. It is not surprising that after that she left Lambiel and went to Canada to Brian Orser. In fact, she wanted to go to Orser even at the height of the pandemic, but, as in the situation with Medvedeva, the Canadian border was close to her. As a result, the well-known specialist did not have time to reanimate the figure skater for the Olympics, although he tried very hard. The injury got in the way. It turned out that the girl had been suffering with her right ankle for 2 whole years. To perform normally, she needed to take a break from the competition. Unfortunately, she has been struggling with this injury for 2 years now and came to us already injured. In my opinion, if she wants to compete at the Olympics, she must have fully recovered so as not to feel pain. You can continue to drown out the pain, but as an athlete and a former skater, I know what it's like to perform with an injury, and it's terrible, said Orser. We never saw Kihira at the Beijing Olympics. She missed not only the Grand Prix series in the Olympic season, but also the national championship, where the fate of tickets to the games was decided. They did not make an exception for the sake of Rika, who held the lead in the Japanese team for 3 years. Although she had the best chances to compete for medals with our girls. And Rika herself dreamed of winning in Beijing. I keep repeating to myself that I need to become better than the Russian figure skaters in order to win the 2022 Olympics in Beijing. I will train really hard to be able to go out on the ice with the confidence that this time I will not lose, Kihira said in an interview with Kyoto News. Passing the Olympics, Kihira did not knock down. The skater assures that she does not plan to end her career. After the Japanese championships, which this time took place without her, she sincerely congratulated the medalists and promised that she would return and become stronger. I was very impressed when I watched the competition on TV. I will try to heal the injuries as soon as possible and come back even stronger. I will do everything in my power, Kihira wrote on her social networks.